Welcome to the first gaming news video of 2025. And first things first, we might as well say Happy New Year to start off with, considering it's the first one of the year. And I hope everyone's had a great Christmas or New Year celebrations, whatever you've been up to. We're going to start off pretty strong, actually, because we had some quite big news came from the Game Awards. Well, I know it sounds crazy. More news from the Game Awards because they only just because they wrapped up just before Christmas, but they decided to go on social media recently on New Year's Eve, where they actually had some words from their partners, Nintendo, who are also partners for the Game Awards every December, and they got word received that Nintendo is planning to make an announcement regarding the Switch 2, which is their successor from the original Switch, within the next 3 months by March 31st, 2025. So within these next 3 months, so we're talking January, February, all the way to the end of March. In between that time, so from now till March 31st, we're going to know what the Switch 2 is going to be all about. Pretty big stuff, if you look at it that way, because I think most Nintendo fans are going to agree that Switch 2 is a big deal this year, considering the fact we're keeping very quiet about the console last year, even though they kind of mentioned that, they're going to talk about it in 2025. Now we're in 2025. It's now time for them to put up or shut up, basically. Just show and tell is basically their motivation now for 2025. They've got to basically show us what they've got. Basically, they've got to show us the hardware, the capabilities, and then more importantly, the games. Because I know the games are going to be an important seller when it comes to this console. So hopefully, as we get, and in fact, a lot of Nintendo players are very convinced that we're going to hear about the console by the end of the month, which would be very interesting if it does happen, considering usually, it's kind of an unusual time for showcases, because usually we get something from Xbox, which is a developer direct, which usually happens end of January into February, but we don't know exactly when that's going to be because they haven't really talked about this yet, about their plans for the developer direct this year, but chances are they're probably going to do one anyway. And then you obviously got the possibility of PlayStation preparing us for the next state of play whenever that takes place. So really, if Nintendo wants to get a head start in terms of getting attention on their end, why not? Why not start the announcements right away? Let's do it. I wouldn't mind seeing Nintendo announcing the new Switch by the end of the month if they really want to go down this, if they want to use it as an opportunity to tie in with Chinese New Year. I know it won't tie in with it, but if they were to coincidentally release the announcement around the time of Chinese New Year, then why not? It sounds fair considering Nintendo has a business over there, so why not? Let's see if they can make that happen. Because like I said, there's always this expectation from the fans that it's going to be announced this month and released in March. Whether that will happen remains to be seen. We don't know if it's going to go down that way, but we'll have to see over the coming weeks how soon it will be until Nintendo will finally have an announcement showcase planned for the Switch 2. Hopefully we'll know sooner rather than later, considering this is Nintendo, so I'm sure they're hopefully not going to wait too long to get the hype going for their business this year if they really want to get people on board on the new hardware. So we'll see what awaits us when it comes to announcements regarding the Switch 2. And I'm also intrigued about this hardware as well. So hopefully they're going to get a lot of new people coming to the Switch this year because of this hardware release. So we'll see what happens. On top of the whole Nintendo Switch 2 announcement that's now free within the 3 months' time, which could be this month, could be next. We're not too sure when Nintendo are planning stuff. But another piece of information that's also dropped by that might be worth keeping a very close eye on, considering this is going to probably be a conversation part of the year, should this release this year or next. And that is that Minecraft is apparently getting a sequel. I know it sounds crazy for me to say it, but yeah, Minecraft's getting a sequel. Notch, who's one of the creators, or I guess you could say the main creator of Minecraft, now kind of basically come out recently and said, he has this plan in 2025, bring a brand new successor to Minecraft. So right there and then, he basically says successor to Minecraft. So it's already confirming Minecraft 2 is now going to happen because of this. In terms of what, yeah, and he says it's honest and legitimate feedback for once, and he wants to have this sort of dungeon crawler entitlement, and he's kind of trying to get a lot of people, so a lot of Minecraft players' feedback about it as well, which is very interesting. He's trying to push for trying to get as much feedback as possible so he can find the right balance for this new Minecraft game, which is really very interesting. Yeah, either way, it's a quite interesting concept. The fact that he's basically announced Minecraft 2, and I thought maybe people actually do want me to make another game that is super similar to the first one, but I love working on games. So it's going to, either way, I think it's going to be, I'm sure a lot of Minecraft fans are going to be intrigued to see what sort of Minecraft 2 is he thinking of, and what is he planning in that sense of like what type of Minecraft sequel are the players going to be getting in the next year or so. But I mean, he did say this is a part of his plans in 2025, so maybe he's planning to hopefully get it out by 2025. We'll have to see. I mean, I know when it comes to new games, usually when they announce a game, usually it will either come out during that year or it's going to come out the year after because they need extra time of development. So we'll see how it goes with Minecraft 2. Maybe the development time might not be as long as we all think it's going to need, but we'll see. We'll see what happens because it's very interesting either way that we're now getting words of a sequel, because I don't think many people were expecting a sequel for Minecraft 2 to happen, and I think a lot of people were thinking Minecraft was going to just exist in just one model. Now that they want to do a sequel, it makes you wonder what could they possibly be wanting a sequel for, and what is the main upgrade to want to make you want to get Minecraft 2. Hopefully, we'll find out during the year what type of upgrades they're thinking of for this sequel. But for now, I mean, main thing to know is Minecraft 2 is a thing and it's happening, and they're working on it. So we're going to hopefully learn more about this release in 2025. And it might even release by the end of the year. Who knows? I mean, we'll have to see how development goes between now and the end of the year, whether it will come out on time or not. But that is another piece of news that came out, the fact that Minecraft 2 is going to be happening potentially in 2025, if not within the next year or so, depending on how their release schedules are going. Surprisingly, now, I know this is not going to make Take-Two very happy, but there is a leaked photo of GTA 6 coming out from Rockstar's offices, has now surfaced, and this is indeed legit, because there is the photo on Reddit. It's definitely going to get a lot of people, and obviously Eurogamer even pointed this out in the recent months about the fact that Take-Two takes leaks very seriously. So there is the possibility that Take-Two is not going to be very happy when they find out there's a image from what appears to be from Rockstar San Diego of them working on the game, and that is now surfaced onto Reddit, and people are obviously catching on to it. So of course Take-Two's not going to be too pleased when they see it. I mean, it's a low-res image for now, but who's to say that Take-Two doesn't try and take it down within the next few days, now that they're coming back into office? Chances are it will probably get taken down because it's well, to them it's controversial information, so wouldn't be surprising if that image does drop. But I'm not going to show it on the video because obviously we don't want to put some of the developers in trouble for it. But I mean, it was almost a given. I think, to be fair, when you have members of the development team who are excited about GTA 6. And in fact, Rockstar is expected to have a massive year with GTA 6. So, of course, the excitement's going to be very, very high. The game, and I'm looking forward to it. And a lot of GTA fans are looking forward to this. And in fact, there's probably going to be a lot of gamers who have never played GTA that are going to be excited about GTA 6 this year. So, yeah, there's a lot of excitement about this game, but obviously a lot of pressure for Rockstar to deliver the best experience possible when it comes to the online mode and the story beats, etc. I'd like to be hopeful that because of this leak, we are going to be getting closer to more news being announced about GTA 6, because I think most of us are wanting GTA 6 to finally have some more announcements happening, because considering we're now in the year of GTA 6, I think we're all ready for some more news about this game. So hopefully we're not too far off from Rockstar revealing more details about the game, and hopefully some more details about GTA Online 2, if this is indeed going to be a thing with GTA 6. Hopefully, we'll start learning some details about that as well. So that's some stuff to obviously coming out about Rockstar's GTA 6. And then there's also been some more games and more PS4 and PS5 games coming out on the PlayStation's January sale. They've added over 3,000 games have been added, such as Dragon's Dormant 2, Marvel's Midnight Suns, Spyro Reunited Trilogy, Sonic Origins Plus, Sea of Thieves from Xbox has now been added, Stellar Blade, The Thing Remastered, just some of the games being added into the sale, and it's going to expire on the 18th of January, so you only have at least a little over 2 weeks to take advantage of the discounts that have been added to the January sales as more games get added to their annual January sale 2025. Speaking of PlayStation, in terms of their plans for 2025, it looks like we might be getting some more returning franchises from PlayStation within the next year, because there was an interesting statement that seems to be coming out regarding Sony looking at opportunities to revive old IPs. Apparently, the company is developing some of these right now. Some of the old franchises that they want to revive for the PS5 and maybe even for the PlayStation 6. We don't know if this is going to be PS5 or PS6 yet. Nevertheless, they are pretty much working on bringing back some old franchises. They haven't said exactly how many old franchises we're going to get. I mean, they've already described it as deep cut and old IP stuff, so they definitely want to bring a lot of old IPs back. And there's a lot of possibilities here. So there's the possibility of Wipeout potentially coming back. You've also got Killzone, which hasn't had a game since Killzone Shadowfall with the launch of the PS4, which I think it's overdue that Killzone needs a new game. Resistance, hasn't had a new game since the PlayStation 3 days. And then you have Motorstorm that hasn't had a new game since the PlayStation 3 days as well. So there's a lot of franchises that Sony have had from their back catalogue that really could do with a revive at some point. So hopefully this is just the start of hopefully more of these franchises returning in future years, hopefully, because I think a lot of gamers would love to see these franchises return in the near future. So hopefully this is just the start of more classic PlayStation franchises coming back into the limelight once again, like they were back in the day. So hopefully more of them will return, thanks to Sony, who are now starting to consider bringing back these franchises into our hands again, which is great. Now, of course, we go from that to the fact that we did also hear, there's obviously been a lot of conversation now about Helldivers 2, especially the creative director has now started to pose the question about what is next for Arrowhead. It seems as though that Arrowhead are already working on their next game, whilst also focusing on new content for the co-op hit. So there might they're obviously going to be working on more content for Helldivers 2, but they're also wanting to start working on their next game, which is interesting. So it'll be quite interesting to see what their next game's going to be, whatever they're working on next, as well as Helldivers 2 content. So at least that's something to keep in mind, that they are working on their next project, as well as making more developments for Helldivers 2 during the course of 2025 and beyond. So at least we now know there's a new project in the works, Arrowhead, as they're now working on their next. The essential games for PlayStation Plus have been announced for January. They're going to be available from tomorrow morning. Not really the best of lists, to be honest. I mean, Suicide Kill the Justice League, not the best game. It's had its fair share of criticism and obviously very well received, considering the game hasn't really done very well for itself. So yeah, the game being labeled on PlayStation Plus, maybe it'll attract some players. We'll see what happens. But then you've also got some other games like Stan Parable Ultimate Deluxe, as well as Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, that are also coming to PlayStation Plus tomorrow as part of their essential games in January. And then obviously the extra and premium games will be made available later in the month. So we'll hopefully have some better choices later in the month We'll see. Now, for many of you who are wondering if Black Myth Wonkai has got a secret PS5 exclusivity deal, no, that is not the case, because the game director even came out and said no, they have an exclusivity deal with Sony, so they haven't been signed to an exclusivity deal. It's just need to sort out stuff with Xbox, and once that's been sorted out, then Xbox can finally receive Black Myth Wonkai, which hopefully will be during 2025. So hopefully in 2025 we will see the release of Black Myth Wonkai, well, hopefully on the Xbox Series X and S. So yes, at some point this year, hopefully the game will come to Xbox. And then for those of you who are wondering if the console war is going to, well, the console stuff is going to continue into the near future, well, the good news is that the CEO of PlayStation seems to be very hesitant to believe that the consoles are here to stay and that PS5 is to be supported into the next generation. So it looks as though PS5 is going to be sticking around even into the PlayStation 6 days of PlayStation, which is good to know that the PS5 games are here to stay for a little while longer than PS4 series of games have been. So it's good to see that they're keeping the console legacy alive. So that's at least good to know that. So we'll see. We'll see how, and obviously this is going to put an interesting spin into the future of PlayStation, obviously. And then there's also this pipe dream that's also been coming out, where you have a developer called a developer porting PlayStation Classics available through PlayStation Plus is adding PS3 support with basically they're adding this sort of Elementor as part of the way to support PS3 game into is dreaming about possibly adding this capability to support PS3 game, because obviously this support is apparently the deal is that they would support a wide range of retro systems, allows to say that software to be updated to improve quality of life features like trophies. Part of the roadmap, it noticed that research and prototype of the possibility of the PS3 support. So it looks as though they're experimenting with this new technology to make PS3 games basically make it so that PS3 games can be downloadable onto your PS5 and be supported through PlayStation Plus in the same way as PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games are, but in a more unique way, which is, I like to be hopeful there's hope there. So we'll see if they're able to do that, because obviously, so hopefully this is just the start of them finally making it so that PS3 games can be better supported with the PS5 backwards compatibility options, hopefully down the road, hopefully, is what this means. But we'll see how it all develops, because I mean, it's a pipe dream for now. Maybe things will take full force as we get into the year. We'll see. Continuing on, of course, we do have some obviously some PvP content planned for Space Marines 2 in 2025. So there's going to be a lot of they're adding a Salamander champion character into PvP and PvE at some point. They're also planning to put custom PvP lobbies into this year with the ability to set modifiers and player counts up to 6v6, remove restrictions of how many players can select the same class. The Horde mode is still coming. And then later in the year, they're hoping to add a prestige rank system, allowing players to upgrade their class still further. So these are just some of the upgrades that Space Marine 2 from Warhammer are going to be receiving during 2025, which is at least a good thing that more upgrades are happening, which is good to know. Now, along with all of that, we did hear some news about Naughty Dog, that basically some more sort of details about the acquisition from Naughty Dog by Sony back in 2021, where they mentioned it was a disclosed amount of sum. But it seems as though today Naughty Dog has now mentioned that the reason why they were sold to Sony was to avoid being crushed by the costs of game development, which is mainly the reason why they joined with Sony. They actually went on to say that the centering of the spiral of costs of game development in the late 90s and early 20s. Gav said that one of the critical reasons Naughty Dog sold to Sony was due to a systematic issue with the AAA space. Almost never have the resources to fund their games, giving publishers an immersive leverage. Obviously, because of how expensive it was in the late 90s, early noughties, was the reason why Naughty Dog has been a part of Sony ever since. So I think they kind of made it the right call for them, which is kind of why they did what they did, why they joined Sony, and also they were right to join Sony considering they had the success of Crash Bandicoot at the time. So of course they were going to get praise for it. Now, as well as this, we did also get an unfortunate. Well, we had a little bit of an unusual situation with Marvel's Arrivals, where apparently the game mistakenly banned players for cheating, and NetEase is planning to make it easy, hopefully make things a little bit easier for them to finally tackle legitimate cheaters, to make it their priority after unfairly banning people who weren't cheating when they were supposed to be banning people who were cheating. So hopefully they're going to avoid that mistake over the course of 2025, as this was only just one mistake that they made this year. Now, Platinum Games, on the other hand, is celebrating their 50th anniversary of their PS3 action game called Battlenet, which released on October the 9th in Japan. But they're celebrating their 50th anniversary year, and they might be making some announcements about this game series potentially during 2025. They said they've got a number of announcements planned this year, so obviously it's going to be a very special year for that company in regards to the release of this game on its PS3 days. So it looks as though we might see maybe a remaster for this game in 2025, just maybe a hint of things to come. We'll have to see, but either way, there's some announcements coming for this game during 2025 to mark its 50th anniversary. And then in terms of Intergalactic, well, surprisingly, the Intergalactic composer actually won an award in the Golden Globes just recently, in fact last night, funny enough, and they won an award for their Challenges soundtrack. So because of the composers winning the award, it means that now they're working on the Intergalactic game from Naughty Dog. It means that they're likely to probably win an award for the game's soundtrack going forward, now that they've managed to get the Challenges win for the Golden Globes last night. So that's pretty nice to see that the composer from that movie is now going to be working on the Intergalactic game from Naughty Dog and working on the soundtrack for that. And then there's also the fact that Stellar Blade developers have been rewarded with cash bonuses and a PS5 Pro for their hard work on Stellar Blade, which is nice to see that the devs are being rewarded for the incredible work they did with Stellar Blade. So that's really good to know. In terms of Xbox news, Ubisoft are currently doing a Just For You deals right now, where you can get 90% off Ubisoft games. This is all a part of Xbox's first major sale, where they are reducing 300 plus games as part of their last chance sale for 2025. Which includes many games are in this list. So there's lots and lots of games on offer for those of you who want to get some discounts on Xbox Store. Now's the time to do so. Alongside this, we did find out that Xbox is getting its own PS5, their own sort of PS5 DualSense controller in the shape of Hype Xbox controller, which is essentially their version of a PS5 controller, which is kind of funny. I mean, looking at the design, it's kind of more of an Xbox style PlayStation 5 controller. This controller is going to be it's going to have the ability for you to comes with a whole effect stickers to eliminate stick drift, and it comes with whole stick triggers as well, and it's coming later this year. The price and release date hasn't been announced yet. It will be coming out during 2025. So this is the controller that will be making its way into Xbox hands, Xbox gamers' hands in 2025. And in fact, it might be beneficial because Xbox Series X and S sales have been lacking behind in recent months. In fact, the end of last year, in terms of the sale figures for the for November, the Series X and S has sold about 700. Nearly 770,000 units, whilst PS5 has sold the most, over nearly 4,000 units, 4K units, compared to Nintendo Switch, who has sold about over a million units. So yeah, so but however, though, the lifetime sales for the Series X and S has been about 31K by the end of November, even though their short-term sales haven't been too great. So yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's kind of they kind of need to start picking up the sales for the console designs. So hopefully they're going to pick things up in 2025. And all they need to do is just make sure that the Series X can deliver some great titles in 2025, which I'm sure they're going to try and do their best on. Another major another major thing that's also coming from Xbox is that the Game Pass Quest system is getting a big overhaul. So there's going to be new ways for you to earn Microsoft rewards in 2025. Some of those will include daily play, which will give you 10 points per day by playing any game on the Game Pass category for at least 15 minutes. Weekly strikes, where you play at least 5 days a week to complete your strikes. More days you play, the more points you earn. So now it comes with the challenge: maintain your streak week over week to unlock a bigger point multiplier. 2-week streaks will unlock a 2+ multiplier, and then 3 weeks will unlock you a 3+ modifier, and 4 weeks will unlock you a 4+. And then there's a monthly 4-pack where it gives you an explore Game Pass categories by playing 4 different games every month for at least 15 minutes. And then there's an 8-pack one way if you do 8 games for 15 minutes every calendar month. Don't worry, 4 games from your 4-pack counts towards the 8-pack too, which is at least a good thing. So yeah, so they're kind of changing the way you earn points for Microsoft reward points if you're looking to. So that's at least a good thing, that they're making it a little bit more easier to get points, I guess, in that way. So at least that's good to know that there's going to be more ways to get Microsoft points through your Game Pass Quest going forward. And then finally, Microsoft's next-gen console that's been nicknamed X Prime is due for 2026. So next year, apparently, the next Xbox is due to release. Even though the person who reported the news, the Ghost of Hope, has said that he's still a bit unclear if the X Prime is a code name or the actual name, but he's heard Infinite Ward's next card is still being considered a day one release for this. So obviously Infinity Ward is going to be the Call of Duty developers for 2026 for the new Xbox hardware that year. And then he says that people don't believe it, but the new Xbox console being in 2026 is pretty much an open secret within the industry. It seems early, but I think it makes sense where Xbox is headed. So he seems pretty confident that Xbox will have their new console by 2026, which would mean that the handheld device is probably due this year, if that's indeed what's going to happen. But then again, it might release after the next home console, so it might not release until 2027. But we'll see how it all plays out between now and later in the year, whether Xbox change their plans between now and the start of 2026. But it's looking very likely the next home console from Xbox is due in 2026, which means that Xbox are ready to move on to their next Xbox line of consoles by next year, which sounds almost like it's almost going to happen. Basically, either way, that is pretty much all the news at this time, obviously, and we're now until we find out when Nintendo are going to start making announcements for the Switch 2. Hopefully, it'll be in the coming weeks, I hope, but we'll find out about that. And in fact, it doesn't make things even more better for the disc drive add-ons. Shortages doesn't seem to be getting better. So anybody who's looking to get a disc drive for the PS5 Slim or PS5 Pro, unfortunately, it's going to be a lot more harder to come by, considering they're still struggling to get more stock of them. Yeah, it's not looking too good for any PlayStation gamer who gets a PS5 Slim and needs a disc drive. If you have got a digital version needing a disc drive, then yeah, chances are it's going to be very hard to come by. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next gaming news. So.